welcome to Inside the Creative Mind of the Amazing Amanda Mulder. With me, your host, the Amazing Amanda Mulder. I am so happy to be back. It is February. Today is the first day of Lent, so happy first day of Lent if you're into that. Yesterday was Mardi Gras. Hope you had some fun, found some beads. And we also had the Lunar New Year. Hello, Year of the Horse. Let's make it a great year. And over the weekend, we had Valentine's Day. So if you're watching, I hope you just had fun with all these February holidays. And from my fish to yours, you're a real catch. Thank you for watching. So I am also officially better. That's why I'm back. February was a tough month that's the month we're in. January, I had difficulty filming because of weather. We had a couple snowstorms here in Erie. And also at the end of February, I got super sick. And I'm about 85% better, but I was missing you all. So I squeezed in some library time to record. And it took about 4 weeks for this respiratory virus. And to be honest, it's been really rough, but I'm feeling a lot better. So I wanted to record a quick video because February is a really busy month, and I don't know. It's almost over next Saturday. So now's the time. So anyway, I am really happy to announce that it is 1 year. I started these videos back in last February to talk about my comedy journey. And so I'm 1 year strong with 1 year anniversary. It's probably one of the best anniversaries I've celebrated. And I have 15 subscribers. I know I have a lot of other people watching out there. So thank you for your support. If you're out there, I hope you're enjoying the journey. All these videos started as a way for me to recap, to reflect, and synthesize my learning, keeping track of my comedy study. And I really do it for me. I do it to kind of document where I'm going and where I've been and where I'm going. And then I was like, in February, hey, why not post these on YouTube? I'm really not using my YouTube channel for much. And to see if anyone else wants to follow my thought process and maybe learn along with me. So I'm just glad you're here. Thank you, everyone that's watched, everyone that's supported. A couple people have come up to me and said, I watched your video and they want to talk to me about comedy. So I just really appreciate y'all. It's been fun. So I'm going to try to do as many updates. I charged my phone all day, but it didn't keep a charge. So hopefully I can get through everything. So January and February updates. I took a great comedy class with Lisa, the Glam Hand, local Erie comedian. The class was really fun. I connected with many great people. We had philosophical conversations about comedy. We practiced, we wrote, we had the opportunity to learn from the experiences of a local woman in comedy, and she's doing really well. She's the #1 comedian in Erie. So thank you, Lisa, for a great class and for sharing your knowledge and contributing to my comedy study. It was a great month, even though I spent like 2 weeks at that class sick. I was still there trying to learn. I wasn't contagious, but I did enjoy everyone kind of putting up with my cough. But yeah, so I did enjoy that experience. I performed at a speed dating comedy show. I'll revisit this because I have things to say. And I saw a famous comedian perform, which you can always, like, if you're studying comedy, go out there and see comedy. That's the best way to learn about it, learn from other people. No names because I saw this comedian. They were really nice. The humor was a little rough, but this isn't like a video to like talk about. But they did have a joke about ALS, which for me, I saw someone that I really loved and cared about die from ALS. It was an awful disease. And that just kind of turned me off, like watching that, and I just didn't find it funny. But I talked to the person afterward, and they lamented about like the rough audience, and it was nice to talk to them and see that you can be someone who's been in comedy 15 years or so, and you can still have a rough night. No one is immune to having a rough night in comedy. So it was a humanizing experience, and it was nice to see someone just be vulnerable with me and chat with me a little bit. And it just reminded me that, rough times, rough experiences happen to everyone. And yeah, I'll get into that because definitely had a rough experience recently. Valentine's Day weekend, I had a great experience. I got to watch the comedy video from the show I was in December 8th. I watched it with someone who couldn't attend that performance. And I will say, I think it's a mixture of things. I'm really self-conscious about watching myself. I do it more, especially since I record these videos. I've desensitized myself a lot, but I did watch this video. I was nervous because I'm like, this show went so well. And when I rewatched the show, I was so proud. This type 5, I practiced since June. It was really tight. And hosting, excuse me, hosting was amazing. I had charisma. I was organized. The routine was amazing. It was well timed. It was funny. People were laughing consistently. And I thought, well, everything I saw in the video went as well as I remembered. And it just made me feel so happy. There's not much I would change watching that video. This is getting so good, and I love that I can really do this. It goes to show, like, if I put my recording that I did December 8th next to the recording from June, oh my goodness, like a night and day difference. And that's what practicing does. That's why practicing is important. And I can really see my growth as a comedian, and I'm excited about future opportunities, so I'm really excited. But it's not comedy, but like other comedians, and like I said on a video, I have a ton of hobbies. But I'm really looking forward this month to being the Renaissance dance master for the Hidden Treasures Fantasy Ball in Erie. I was with a bunch of people teaching them the dances on January 23rd, and I've studied and taught Renaissance dance for 23 years, and this event was a real highlight. This practice and this event coming up is really a dream come true to me. It's an event outside the SCA, and I'm making the art form of Renaissance dance accessible to anyone with little to no dance experience. So it's been just great. I can't wait for the ball on February 28th. I have some friends coming. I'm really excited to dance with everyone. Okay. So let's circle back to speed dating. I participated in a speed dating comedy show January 15th, and I will say it was a very different experience to perform outside of Erie, outside of where I live. And I learned that no matter how disillusioned I sometimes feel here locally, there's always somewhere that's worse. So, yep, it made me really appreciate home, and I found that worst place in Ohio. So I'm normally pretty positive in these videos, and honestly, I'm going to take a little detour and be a little reflective, a little honest, even more so because I've burned this bridge. I mean, like, I've really burned it. I've doused it with gasoline and set it on fire with like 200 matches. So let me give you the tea about my experience and, more importantly, what I learned. First, I'll say this event, this comedy event was I was appreciative of the opportunity, but it was run by someone without the skills to run a successful show. I know what a successful show looks like. I was in a show December 8th, like I mentioned, and that show was very successful. So let me do a little comparison. December 8th, Scotty G and Friends. The guys are really nice. I talked about this show in a previous video, but it was a well-run show. First of all, Scotty G, the organizer, constantly gave us updates about the logistics and expectations of the event. And then we even had a pre-event call to talk with all the comedians about expectations, logistics, and just get to know each other. It was really nice and well done. For speed dating comedy, I was invited to perform. I received one ambiguous message from the organizer asking, and I asked if there'd be more communication planning or details. I was told no, the organizer didn't think it was necessary. So anyway, the night of the event, I really didn't know the expectations. I didn't know how things were structured. I didn't know how things were run. The organizer told me that his girlfriend would hold up a light, like a cell phone light, when my 10 minutes to perform was over. And I really didn't know who the organizer's girlfriend was. I think I saw her once, and I didn't know where she'd be in the room. And the light was just a cell phone light. It was very hard to see. The performance was in a brewery, like bar area. It was dark, and almost everyone there had lights and had their cell phones out. So anyway, I just, you go with the flow when you're at an event, and you just, okay, great. So I was first, and I performed, and I was performing, and I looked around. I didn't see the girl. I didn't see the light. I finally, when I was going, I'm just thinking, wow, this is a wow. And I finally saw the light in the far right corner. And then when I saw the light, the first light, I wrapped up like you do when you perform. But apparently I went over the time, which upset the organizer of the comedy, did not upset the event organizer, which I think is the most importantly. But it upset the comedy organizer because I infringed on his time as a headliner. So, I'll say this. I didn't mean to, for the record. And if things were better organized, the situation would not have happened. Some suggestions I have that I think are really important is if you are organizing an event, that you tell people the expectations before they perform, like maybe have a call, maybe write them out, show people like your cue, show people who's holding the cue, put them in a spot where the people performing can see that person, and give it a clear cue that's different from everything else in the room. Give it a red light, give it a green light, like really come prepared with something different that comedians can see to know that their time is up. Anyway, and I think if someone runs over their time, give them the benefit of the doubt, like it's back on the organizer that it wasn't clear what the expectations were, and it definitely wasn't clear for me. So this guy, I didn't realize that there was any issue until I was trying to sign up for an open mic in the area. And this is out of town. This was like an hour away from where I live. And someone else delivered the message that I am blacklisted from that event. I found a way to contact the organizer and told him I didn't mean to do that, and that I had some thoughts about the event, and he told me that I'm a toddler throwing a tantrum and can't take credit for my own mistakes. So for the record, I hope you're enjoying my tantrum video, but I did make a huge mistake, and I'll take credit for it. I should have just timed myself. When I showed up and things were a hot mess, I should have just timed myself like I was planning to. I had my teacher timer and I had a watch. And I should have timed myself instead of relying on someone who tried to set me up to fail on purpose. But yeah, if a ship is sinking, save yourself. If you're a comedian, try to save yourself the best you can. Don't go down with the mess. But I want to dig a little deeper here. Like I said, not definitely not making friends, and I burned this bridge, so I don't really care. But the coordinator of the show was, as you guessed it, white, male, heterosexual, and had only really been doing comedy since October. So, dude, you're dripping in white comedian privilege. And I was the only female comedian. I was the only one he didn't really know. And he invited all his white male friends, also very privileged. No diversity. Most of these guys went up there ranting about fat, ugly women. And okay, typically I don't really love that. I mean, if you're a woman, talk about whatever weight or whatever you look like. But if you're a man dissing every woman that you've ever dated, I hope you just plan to stay single forever. I keep my mouth shut about that. Whatever, you know, it's like the old sitcoms where they used to diss women, and that seems to be the kind of comedy that people are into around here. There was one guy that got up there talking about dating apps because it was a dating event. And he said that he wouldn't date a woman in a wheelchair. He wouldn't want to be seen around a retard. He doesn't roll like that. Okay, so this to me crossed a line of me listening to these people and also me freaking being associated with this group. I'm a special education teacher, so I'm an advocate for children with disabilities. And I've done work with people with disabilities, and I got angry, and I'm still super angry. And it goes back to the previous video where I said, punch up, don't punch down on the misfortunate. And like if this comedian was in a wheelchair calling himself a retard, I mean, that seems appropriate for what he was saying. But I don't love that, but he's at least talking about his experience in a wheelchair or whatever. But he's literally calling out a woman in a wheelchair, calling her a retard. And dude, you're just another privileged white guy punching down on people with disabilities. I was really frustrated. So I said loudly, this is so bad. Quit bashing people with disabilities. Leave them alone. And I guess the guy heard me say this loudly. It's probably on his recording. But I honestly don't care. I've spent 17 years in education, most of those helping students with disabilities. And the thing is, a lot of people understand that teachers are held to a different ethical standard. We're told to watch what we film, watch what we say, watch what we share everywhere. And that's not just during school hours. You're not going to see a teacher say like they're on OnlyFans or something. And I'm not saying that that's right or wrong, the way teachers are treated, but we're held on a pedestal, and it's what we sign on for when we get in the profession of helping other people. So anyway, being in an atmosphere, to be silent, I heard this quote, silence is acceptance. So if I'm at this event and I'm silent, how does it look to the world if I'm recorded at an event where I'm silently accepting this? How many other people also are repulsed out there, but they're just too polite, like the fairy tale, The Emperor's New Clothes. So when I took pretty much a professional code of ethics to get in the career of helping people with disabilities, helping children with disabilities, I am that voice for those who don't have one. And that doesn't stop in the school environment. That is out in the public too. I take that very seriously. I'm very passionate about this. And I don't regret what I said to him. So I'm okay making enemies. I'm okay being blacklisted for standing up for something I'm passionate about. And honestly, that's just bad comedy. That's getting cheap laughs. You're not talking about your own personal experience. You're dissing someone in a wheelchair. Yeah, it's just trash, dude. Just trash. There's just trash everywhere. But despite that crummy situation, I will say that it ultimately falls back on the venue or the event coordinator to screen people. Who do you endorse? Who do you support? I talked a lot with the event coordinator. They told me they knew this crew was bad. They just wanted extra help. And they allowed the organizer to do a sloppy job. They didn't really care. They cared so little that when the organizer wanted to run a second poorly executed event where they knew the person would exclude me and leave me out, they said, sure. And I predict from my last interaction with the person that this ship will keep sinking. And I'm thankful that I will not be on board. So I'm okay with it. Sometimes I do think I'm going to have this problem more and more the more I do comedy. Sometimes as a performer, you have to gauge, is this event worth my time? Does this event match the quality of the skills I bring? And if the answer is no, you go where you're wanted, you find a different event, you find your people, you find a better match. Don't settle for being around people like this. So yeah, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from the event, and I was a little upset. I'm upset with the way they talked about people with disabilities, and I was upset with the way I was emphasized and the misogyny rampant. But my 3 takeaways: some comedy opportunities are great. Some will be learning experiences. Everyone's going to have a bad night. And when it's like Star Wars and you have a bad feeling about this, take time to protect yourself. Do that thing like time yourself or keep yourself safe. It's just not worth risking, it's not worth the risk. And I also learned that some men, headliners, have an ego larger than you know what. And I stand by that. I say that, but there are very kind, reasonable, nice men out there. Lots of really supportive men in my life. Lots of supportive women, friends. And you know who you are. I thanked you in a previous video, and I'm still thanking you, but I'm probably going to run out of video space before my phone dies. But you know who you are, and that I love and appreciate you. Thanks for going against the norm and being good human beings out there. Thanks for supporting me, lifting me up, cheering me on. Really appreciate that. Wow. Okay. Wow, I'm really impressed I'm doing all this. Okay. So upcoming, I don't have any comedy shows locked in right now, but I'm in talks with people, so hopefully there'll be some spring shows. I'm also going to go see some great teacher comedy. Board Teacher Comedy Tours back in Erie, March 22nd. You know I'll be there. You know I got my ticket. I got my ticket when they announced it. I'm excited to hopefully see the comedy. And this year I'm going to try to connect with people afterward, because teacher comedians are my people. I have ideas. I have passion. I have things I want to do. So board teachers, I'm coming for you. And I'm performing with the Confused Greenies, my friends, in Ohio, and we do Commedia dell'arte theater. We're performing at a show called Concoction, March 7th, and then April 11th we'll be performing at Columbus State University for an event. So really looking forward to those 2 opportunities to do some Commedia dell'arte, get back with my friends. And they're really fun and supportive. And we also do improvisational theater, which lends itself well to comedy festivals, and it's just a great art too. So I'm really excited. So, well, with that being said, I got up to 25 minutes, and that's about where I like to leave it. So yeah, so I'll just leave it with everything's a learning experience. And my mom said you have to have thick skin, and I'm developing that thick skin and just moving on to the next journey and moving on to where I'm wanted. And I'm totally fine with that, especially since I have all you out there supporting me. So thank you everyone so much. Have a happy rest of February, and I will be back in March, my birthday month, with another video. And lastly, happy anniversary to me and inside the creative mind of the amazing Amanda Mulder. Thank you so much. Take care, and I will talk with you soon. Bye.